All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Saturday, May 23rd, 22nd, 23rd. I don't know. I don't know what the date is, but I know it's Saturday. And my name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally here today, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. Now we're hitting at 62% in our last 14 board member tier package picks on my Patreon page. And the good news is this, we have another board member tier package pick going off here tonight. We also won 5 out of our last 7 $1.99 daily best plays on that Patreon page as well. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. Now, we currently have over 1,205 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that page is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, let's go ahead and get into some playoff action. And we're going to start with the Heat taking on the Bucks, 2 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks are -5, totals 227. Milwaukee finished the regular season 20 games above 500. They're currently first in the NBA in scoring on average per contest, top 3 in the NBA in shooting the 3 ball at home. Now, in addition to going 26-10 straight up at the Fiserv Forum, the Bucks shot nearly 41% from beyond the arc there. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's averaging over 28 points a game, 11 boards, 5 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, Chris Middleton's averaging 20 points a night himself, 6 rebounds, 5 assists for Middleton. The Bucks score 121 points per contest as the home team, and they lead the league in home offensive rebounding. They're taking on a Miami club who struggled to get on the scoreboard this year. They're in the bottom 5 in road scoring, bottom 3 in offensive rebounding. Now, Miami averaged just 107 points per contest when they traveled. They're also in the bottom 3 in fourth quarter scoring as well. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, Miami went 80% to the over in their last 10 ball games. Meanwhile, 5 out of Milwaukee's last 7 got over the number themselves. The Bucks are officially 22-14 to the over at the Fiserv Forum. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks -5 and the over 227. Next ball game, Mavericks Clippers, 4:30 Eastern tip-off. The LA Clippers are -6, totals 217.5. Now, the Clippers have shot the 3 ball well all season long, and as a matter of fact, they currently lead the NBA in three-point percentage. The Clippers are making well over 41% of their three-pointers as a team, and they also went 26-10 straight up as the home team as well. Kawhi Leonard, he's scoring over 24.5 points per contest, 6 rebounds, 5 assists for the NBA champ. Meanwhile, Paul George is averaging over 23 points a game himself, 41% shooting from beyond the arc for Paul George. Meanwhile, defensively, the Clippers are leading the NBA in home defensive rebounding. I think that is the area where Los Angeles really pounds, the Mavericks here today. And speaking of the Mavs rebounding, they're actually in the bottom 10 in the league in offensive rebounding themselves. The Mavericks struggle to cover the number. They did struggle to cover the number down the home stretch. They actually failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Now, Dallas also tends to give up points late in games. They're in the bottom 10 in fourth quarter points allowed on the road. Now, total-wise, Dallas saw their last 5 straight all get over the line, 70% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Clippers saw their last 2 straight get over the number themselves, 19-17 to the over as the home team. I'm going to lean toward the LA Clippers -6 and the over 217.5. Next ball game, Celtics Nets, 8 o'clock East. The Brooklyn Nets are -8, numbers 232 flat. Brooklyn leads the NBA in offensive field goal percentage. They're making 50% of their field goals at the Barclays Center. And speaking of the Barclays, the Nets have been virtually unbeatable there. They've been very good at home. They actually finished the regular season 28-8 straight up on their home court. Now, Durant, Harden, and Irving, they're all available for tonight's contest. Going to be nice to see their version of the Big Three all in action at the same time. Now, Kevin Durant's averaging nearly 27 points a night, 7 rebounds, 5 assists for the All-Star forward. Durant's also making 45% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving's dropping over 26 points a game himself, along with 6 assists. Now, if you put Kyrie to the line, he's going to make you pay. He's making over 92% of his free throws. The Nets are taking on a Celtics team who lost 6 out of their last 9 contests to finish the regular season. And they did have a playoff game and play-in game there as well. Boston has also failed to cover the point spread in 8 out of their last 10 meetings with the Nets. The Celtics really tend to start slow on the road. They're in the bottom 5 in first quarter scoring on the road, bottom 5 in second quarter scoring on the road as well. And when it comes to the number in this one, the Celtics saw their last 4 straight stay under the posted total, 60% to the under in their last 10 meetings with Brooklyn. Meanwhile, the Nets saw 6 out of their last 9 outings stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Brooklyn Nets -8 and the under 232. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Blazers versus the Nuggets, 10:30 Eastern start. The Denver Nuggets are -1, totals 227. Now, Denver went 25-11 at the Ball Arena this year, top 10 in home scoring. The Nuggets have also been really good rebounders this season. They lead the NBA in defensive rebounding, top 10 in offensive rebounding at home as well. And despite the absence of Will Barton and potentially Austin Rivers here this evening, this team's led by Nikola Jokic, who averages over 26 points a night, 10 rebounds, 8 assists for the Joker. Meanwhile, Michael Porter Jr. scoring 19 a game himself, along with 7 boards. Now, the Nuggets do a nice job shutting things down late. They're actually in the top 5 in fourth quarter points allowed. Now, they're taking on a Portland team who struggled defensively all year long. The Blazers, they give up 115 points a game when they travel, and they're in the bottom 10 in defending the 3-ball. There's also a good chance these guys will struggle around the boards here today. They're in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Portland's last 9 ball games got over the total. They're also 20-16 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are 22-14 to the over at the Ball Arena. I'm going to lean toward the Denver Nuggets -1 and the over 227. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Milwaukee -5 over 227. LA Clippers -6 over 217.5. Brooklyn Nets -8 under 232. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are hitting at 62% in our last 14 board member tier package picks on my Patreon website. We also won 5 out of our last $7 $7.99 daily best plays on that Patreon page as well. I'm going to lean toward the Denver Nuggets -1 and the over 227. And with that, guys, now we're going to jump into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Devin Ashwa, William Robinson, Compton Rob, Gary DeStefano, Blaine Medvick. Also want to give a shout out to Alex G, Sean Danowitz, Drew the Chosen One. Shout out to Q Quail. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Caden Floodstrom. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Exciting time of the year right now. If you're not linked up on my Patreon site, you certainly may want to consider it. A lot of good stuff going on there. And as a matter of fact, if you do decide to get a Patreon membership here today, just keep in mind, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a Patreon membership here today, you're still going to get access to that content through the end of May. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Certainly excited to finally get a YouTube video out this week. Unfortunately, I couldn't because there were so few play-in games. I was using a lot of those games as my premium content on Patreon. So, couldn't give you a free pick video and then use all exactly the same picks on Patreon. Wouldn't have been fair to my my patrons. But anyway, we're back in action here. So if you do want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, once again, patreon.com/BrockPage. But once again, most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Thank you for bearing with me. I've been getting absolutely destroyed by seasonal allergies. So I'm about a full week into antihistamines and nasal decongestants. I'm like a walking pharmacy right now. But anyway, guys, it is Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.